Okay, hi everybody, and welcome back to our channel,
Hello.
Paranormal Contact. We're just back today doing one of our little podcasts.
With a brand new surrounding.
Yes.
Isn't it good? Oh, it's amazing.
So, we've been thinking about what we wanted to talk about, and we thought we would like to talk about North Newton Church.
Yeah, I mean, during the investigation, you never really got to hear me and Richard's thoughts in depth about what was going on in the church. So we just decided that tonight would be a good conclusion to that little mini-series of investigating North Newton Church, where you get to hear both of our opinions.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good.
Let's get into it.
Okay. So Dave, North Newton Church,
Yeah.
we had some interesting experiences there. I'd like to take you back to the first part of the investigation when we went there about 3 to 4 weeks ago. That was the first investigation where we went in daylight.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts as we were going into that?
Right, so you have to understand that when we went there for the walk around, remember the walk around before the investigation?
Yeah.
We walked through them and we went to in a certain part of that church I felt really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Also, we've done a lot of church walkarounds this year, haven't we?
Yeah, we have.
And that is the first church that we've been in where I felt extremely uncomfortable to the point where I've had to walk out.
Right.
So there was a worry enough for me for an investigation to go there.
Yeah.
And the first time we went there, I honestly believed that we were going to get some sort of evidence. So.
Yeah. See, I was completely the opposite.
Yeah.
When we went in, I think you remember I said on part of the introduction in there that I went in on my own and I had a little walk around and I said I really don't feel much in here. Didn't feel anything at all to start with. But that changed as things went on. So just thinking about what we actually did in that first one, really all of the information, all the real good stuff we got first of all was in that little area just in front of just by the sort of pulpit there, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Very odd. Very
Extremely
odd.
odd.
Your mile meter was going crazy there, and we both walked and we both looked at all of the electrical stuff. I've got no explanation for that. What have you? Have you thought of anything it could have been?
There's a couple of little thoughts I had, is that maybe there was another electrical source there that we couldn't see. And then I honestly thought that maybe, like when we went to Hillcote Cemetery,
Yeah.
we had the power cables above.
Yeah.
I thought that maybe there were some power cables.
Something there.
On closer inspection, there
Nothing?
is no
No.
power cables there. They were the main two thoughts that I had. That there was just a power source there which I couldn't see, or running underneath the church maybe.
Don't think.
No, I don't think so either.
There's no entrance anywhere to go under the church.
I mean, I'm just trying to think of logical kind of things which could be spiking it off. But deep down, I just believe that area there was just a little bit of a hotspot for something.
It did seem that all the results we got were around that area, and we tried. I mean, that was one of the first places we tried. I've forgotten the app's name. Necrophonics. We tried the Necrophonics app in there, and we got some interesting results there. I do remember there was a point where you were talking to the app. I'm not sure if it was Necrophonics or Ghost Tube you were using at the time, but it said you were asking if it wanted to go outside and go out the outside of the church, and it said cemetery.
Yeah,
cemetery. I think it said cemetery, which is obviously the outside of the church. We were asking, do you want me to go outside? Do you want me to go out? And then it just said cemetery, and I'm thinking that's a clear response.
I mean, At the time when we were doing that, I didn't actually know really what to make of it, because Ghost Tube can be, in my opinion, can be a bit sporadic at certain points.
Yeah.
And I was like going, okay, so in the cemetery, he gave me a name, Laura. And I thought,
Yeah.
well, if I go out into the cemetery, am I going to find
Yeah.
the name Laura on the gravestones? Obviously, it wasn't, and they were on the names list anyway, which we later went on.
Yeah.
On there.
Mind you, they're not all listed. It's a
No,
very,
they're not.
very old church.
But yeah, it seemed like something was trying to guide me outside.
Yeah.
Just have a look around, and then I believe when I was outside, it said touch and all that. And
but it was funny because the longer we stayed that day, the more convinced I became that there was something a bit odd there.
Yeah, there wasn't something right.
Yeah. You know, and I was a bit sceptical to start with, I really was. But the longer we stayed, the more I started to think, this just feels very odd.
Yeah.
Very, very strange.
Yeah, I mean, like, three-quarters hour into that investigation, it's when it really started to change for me.
Yeah.
I mean, like, there was... I'm going to say it because I believe that this is what was going on. There was something darker in there.
Yeah.
I know how I felt.
Yeah.
Nobody can kind of take that away. I know that I was starting to get very aggressive.
Yeah.
I was starting to get very angry and agitated. And I'm the most passive guy in the world most of the time.
So,
Get that.
of all the apps we've used, which one do you think is the most convincing of the ones we've tried?
Necrophonics.
Yeah, I agree. I really think there's something to that app.
I mean, I've had some good communication with the Ghost Tube, especially at home.
Yeah.
I really, really have. But the Necrophonics in that church, knowing that it was the first time we used that app, it didn't disappoint me in any way, shape, or form. I mean, at the time of the investigation, when you're using the Necrophonics app, you don't hear everything that's being said. It's only in through editing you start hearing little different bits and pieces.
Going forward, that's something we maybe need to do a bit more of, is sit and listen back, because I know when I've listened back to the episode after it's been done and I've listened carefully and I'm thinking, I don't remember that. I don't remember hearing that, but now it's very clear. You can hear different responses that we perhaps miss on the day. Perhaps you're getting a bit of an adrenaline rush, you know, and you're just skipping over certain things.
Yeah, get caught up in the moment.
Yeah, but yeah. So for me, on that day, when we went into that little pump station room, that was really quite something else for me.
Yeah, it was good.
And that was actually my first ever use of Necrophonic, was just in there.
Yeah.
And the responses we got in there blew my mind. I mean, you probably saw my reactions. What did you think about that in there?
I thought it was awesome. If I was to be honest, that was probably one of my favourite parts of the whole investigation.
I mean, the responses were so clear, weren't they? They were literally...
They were like this.
You were asked, I mean, and it responded better to you. I've got to say, all through that I noticed, you know, I was talking, I wasn't really getting a lot, and then you came in, and it literally straight away, it was, boom, a response.
Yeah.
Ask another question, a response, and I'm thinking, you know, that can't be coincidence.
Maybe there was something in there that was trying to get my attention, but...
Yeah, and I mean, it of all of it as well, and I know, like, your name, Dave, is obviously you can hear that in a lot of things, I guess, because it's a straightforward one-syllable name.
It come up a lot.
But it did seem to keep coming up.
Yeah. I mean, alarmingly a lot. Now, I'll be honest with you, I don't know if they were just calling out to me, or there was a spirit there called Dave, because you'd get a name and then you wouldn't get a huge amount of response afterwards when you start asking other questions as such.
Yeah.
So whether they were just referring to me or there was a spirit there called Dave, it still remains to be seen. But that might have come up a lot.
Do you remember the point in the church when I was sat on the pew and we tried to get it to say my name and it came up? That's the one time I got, and you know, I was like, whoa.
It's good. I mean, in my honest opinion, I think there was more than one spirit in there trying to communicate with us.
Yeah.
I think there was quite a few positive spirits in there.
Yeah.
There was, I'm going to say this again, there was another spirit in there which wasn't as pleasant.
Yeah.
But I think where there were so many spirits trying to communicate with us, it's, in my opinion, that it become very hard to kind of
distinguish what was going on and who or what was trying to communicate.
Yeah, where we were struggling to get names back, and to be honest with you, going into the one in the dark, I've actually now found a name in the necrophonics called Liam.
Yeah.
And I do believe that there was another name in there which is being flagged up by another paranormal team who watched a video, which I believe it was Ghost Hunters Northwest.
Yeah.
Ghost Watchers Northwest, I should say. Sorry, my bad. I apologise. Ghost Watchers Northwest, that's my bad. Apparently there's another name in there somewhere, but I haven't had a chance to actually go back and have a look. But when we were, like I was saying, didn't get... Well, at the time, we weren't getting a huge amount of names. No. It's very hard to try and spark a good conversation, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So do you think, I mean, looking at what we do and how we do it, we're still talking about the first investigation we did there and around about that time. Is there anything you do differently with hindsight, looking back on it? Is there anything you think we should have tried?
Yeah, we should have gone in there by ourselves.
Yeah.
That'd be one thing. If we go back there again, not necessarily in the dark. It doesn't have to be in the dark.
Yeah.
But in the daytime, go in there by ourselves.
Yeah.
And see what kind of reaction that we get
on your own.
On your own.
Yeah.
Other things I would have done differently. There wouldn't be a huge amount that I would have changed. Maybe a bit more on the digital recorder.
Yeah.
Because obviously it's one of my favourite bits of kit anyway.
Yeah.
But that being said, the Necrophonics app and some of the apps are actually giving us some quite good evidence.
Yeah.
And the Spirit Box, a bit more on the Spirit Box as well.
I don't know if it's me, but sometimes I think with the digital recorder and the Spirit Box and things like that, it's so hard to hear it and to review it.
Yeah.
And as it's going on, you just listen and all you can hear is that going on, and you think, well, you've got to spend the time, I think, after going through that and reviewing what's on there, haven't you, really, to get any sense from that? It's not an instant... Well,
no.
In my experience so far, there's not been an instant reaction that you can say, I know what that was.
No, it's like I said in the home investigation. The reason why I'm spanning the home investigations over a certain amount of time is to let any kind of spirits try and learn how to use different bits of kit, because you don't necessarily know if they know how to use them.
No.
We're just presuming that they go, okay, here's the spirit. If we're using the Spirit Box, you ask a question, go, come and say hi, and then through the Spirit Box, she's going to go, hi, how are you? You having a good day?
Yeah.
You know,
maybe that's something we could improve on then. Maybe before we sort of use the app, we should spend a bit more time explaining to the spirits, if they're there, about how to use the app, because it's something I forget. I just tend to just bulldoze into it, and I'm not thinking about that.
Or just give them some time just to adjust, to maybe learn how to use it, because like the Spirit Box runs on white noise, so there's certain connections between white noise and spirits, so on and so on and so on. Just maybe just give them a bit more time, just learn how to use them.
Do you remember when you went to get your little, was it the Spirit Box out from your bag?
Yeah.
What do you make of that? That was, I mean, I know you put new batteries in that, and it started going off in your bag, and the batteries were virtually flat. Have you had any more problems with that? So you put batteries in it at home, and it's fine.
I put brand new batteries in at the beginning of that Saturday.
Yeah.
In the day, and we didn't use that Spirit Box until we got to that church.
No.
I didn't turn it on.
No.
Didn't use it in any way, shape or form. And then it started going off in my bag, and I literally had near enough next to nothing battery power on there.
It's weird, isn't it?
As we entered the church.
Yeah, strange.
So, all day it was fine. Went into the church, and then just started going off and it was flat. Then I changed the batteries, and I haven't had any problems with that Spirit Box since.
Yeah.
It's still on full charge. So in my personal opinion, I think there was something there just draining that power, just gathering some energy.
Took the energy or took the power away from it.
That's my honest opinion.
Yeah.
Because I can't find any logical reason to why the batteries on that went flat.
No.
It wasn't cold.
No.
That day.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't hugely cold in the church. You know, it had a bit of a chill, but it wasn't like...
No, you're in a big old stone building, they always feel a little bit cold and damp, don't they? But
unless anybody can give me any logical explanations for it, I don't know. But
I don't. I've got no explanation as to what happened there.
No.
So other things there that are memorable for me, okay? The breath thing on the investigation where you hear a breath
in the dark. Yeah.
I mean, I've looked back over at what people have said on the comment, and other people can hear it. I still can't hear it.
I don't know how you can not hear it.
I can't hear it.
I genuinely don't even know how you can not hear that. I remember when I heard it, when I was in there.
Yeah.
And I honestly, that's why I pointed at you, I thought, that's Richard.
Yeah.
I was like, no, that's Richard. It's got to be. But because you were filming me,
yeah,
it almost sounded like the breath was behind you, which, you know, when I was editing it, it wasn't you. It sounded like it was coming from behind you, and behind there was like a little partition thing.
Yeah, that's right.
Like a little
they've got some jumping.
That's where it sounded like it come from.
How weird. I've looked at it and I've listened to it. I can't hear it. I don't know if anybody else can.
I can hear it as clear as day. Every time I can hear it as clear as day. It freaked me out a bit.
Yeah.
I have to be honest with you.
Yeah.
The night time, that pretty much.
So when we went there at night, I thought it was really odd because I was expecting it to feel really, really frightening at night in there.
I did.
And it was like, I didn't feel at all worried when we were in there at night. It didn't affect me one little bit.
No, I mean, I was quite comfortable and I was quite upbeat.
Do you think we were getting the same spirits or the same things in there at that night?
No.
I think they were different.
I think there were different spirits in there that night. Like I said, that bit in the day, I become very angry, aggressive, agitated, felt off, very wrong. I never normally feel that way.
Yeah.
Ever. But when we went in the dark, it was the complete opposite feeling.
Yeah.
And that darker, say, kind of spirit didn't feel like it was there.
No, I didn't feel that at all.
I think it was starting to make itself known towards the end of that investigation with the breath.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's starting to pick up at that point.
Yeah. And
there's a little thing that I haven't told you yet, so which I never actually put into the edit of part 5, but there is another word that come out in that off the necrophonics.
Yeah.
And it's a clear as day, amen.
Right.
As well. I'm just. There was a lot going on. There's more going on in that evening investigation than what we thought.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But it was definitely more positive, though.
Yeah, everything felt positive on that night.
Very positive.
Yeah.
I was so upbeat. I actually felt alright.
Yeah.
Until the breath.
Until the breath. That I can't hear.
Which I don't even know how I can't hear. It still baffles me.
So we also tried out the SLS, little ghost tube SLS camera, didn't we, on there as well?
Yes.
What do you think of the results from that?
I have looked at what you sent me, the clip of what you sent me, and prior to me sitting down, it just does look like it was tracking something else.
Yeah.
Confused.
Yeah.
I don't know a huge amount about the SLS cameras on the Ghost Tube app.
No.
I mean, I've got my own SLS camera at home.
Yeah.
And it'd be, in the future, I think it'd be interesting to bring my one.
Yeah.
And then try your one.
Compare both of them.
Compare both, yeah. Because I can't really comment too much on that app, on that side of the app, because I haven't got it, I haven't used it.
Yeah.
So.
I've used it in a few different settings. I mean, I think it's good, but it is quite easy to work out when it's tracking something that's you know, it's seeing a shape that it's interpreting as a human shape or as a stick figure shape.
Yeah.
I don't think we really got anything in the church from it. It was very clear it was picking up you, your shape, and where you were.
Yeah.
But there were times when I used it, and there was something round by in front of the pew. It kept showing that up on there, didn't it? It just kept showing this little figure, and I'm thinking, well, I don't know if that was just picking up something in the carving on the pew, or whether it was really, whether there was something there. But it didn't stay for long.
Did you use it in any? Excuse me. Did you use it in any other areas of the church?
No, I only tried it
Just
up
in
there,
that area.
just up there. Yeah.
Because that area is obviously where we got the most activity.
Yeah. And what did you think about? I mean, obviously we didn't get any info from it, but I thought trying out the compass to see if there was any magnetic anomalies.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
I mean, I would like to have seen that move. I'd love to have seen that move, because that would have told me that there's something interfering with the magnetic field in there somewhere. Because I was thinking, with that mal meter just kept going off there, would it influence that in any way? But we didn't seem to get anything on that. I was a bit disappointed about that.
I'm with you. I'd like to have seen that compass go like that.
Yeah, I'd love to see it spinning. Yeah,
going crazy, and then it would have changed my whole lot. But with the mal meter side of it, I've had that now for 3-4 big investigations that we've done.
Yeah.
I mean, I've used it at the Unnamed Mansion.
Yeah.
I've used it at home.
Yeah.
Now at the Unnamed Mansion, we got some big spikes there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which I class as the best bit of communication we had in there, apart from a few other things.
Yeah.
And I've used it at home and got nothing.
No.
Nothing.
It's weird, isn't it?
Right. I've used that 3 or 4 times at home.
Yeah.
Didn't even budge.
Yeah. I am intrigued by it.
Go to that church.
That intrigues me very much. And the other thing I noticed, I mean, obviously I brought my thermometer with me, and I was taking temperatures. And I don't think we talked about this much at the time, but the temperature dropped in there by nearly 2 degrees in that area.
Down the daytime.
Yeah. And that's a lot for it to drop. There was no change in temperature outside. And then later on, the temperature came back up. So we lost 2 degrees. It went down, I think, as low as 9. When I started, it was 11 point something, I think, something like 11 or 12. And it dropped right down to 9 for about, I don't know, half an hour maybe, and then it came back up to around 11 or 12. How do you explain that?
I know what I want to say.
I mean,
I want to say that there was something in there and it just made it colder.
Yeah.
I
To me,
just
again,
believe there was something in there to make it colder.
On its own, it's not enough evidence to show anything, but it's odd. It was odd. I just cannot work out what would have caused that, It's not like it was a blazing hot day outside and then we were there and the sun went down a little bit and it got a bit cooler. But even so, in a big stone building like that, it doesn't cool that quickly anyway. It doesn't suddenly go from being 12 degrees to 9 degrees in like an hour. It just doesn't.
No.
The stone is always reasonably cold. I mean, the building will always feel cool, even in summer. But I can't explain what was causing that. I really can't. But
I haven't got a lot of explanation for it, apart from the fact that I do believe that there was something in there around us the whole time that we were there.
Yeah. So what was your favourite part of the investigation?
Favourite part of the investigation was... Oh, there's all sorts of... I mean, all of it... I don't think I've got a favourite part. I just think all of it was just really, really good. I mean, I've been through all the footage. All of it. More than once. And there were some quieter times and there were some more active times. I think all of it. I think I just enjoyed the investigation, whether it was in the daytime or whether it was at night. I admit that the daytime investigation had a different feel to the nighttime investigation, but it was still quite enjoyable.
Yeah.
I got angry, a little bit agitated, and I was getting a little bit kind of aggressive at certain points with the spirit.
I think one of my favourite little points from the whole investigation was when we were doing the necrophonics app with the names from people on the graveyard.
It was good, wasn't it?
And you called out the names, and we got, again, straight away some clear responses. And I'm trying to remember what it was you said. It was like, well, I wasn't expecting that so quickly, or something like that.
It was a long. Yeah, well, I didn't. If I was to be honest with you, I didn't expect to get anything.
No.
And to be honest, knowing that I only put in a certain segment of that little bit of an investigation, because we had no other responses.
Didn't get any other responses, no.
It was just that first
those first couple of names, yeah.
So that's hence the reason why I put it in there, and I was kind of hoping that after it said yes, we were going to get some more communication.
Yeah.
But again,
I look back and I thought about that. I think maybe we moved on too quickly.
I think so. Yeah.
We might have lost them because we didn't continue with that conversation. Because if I remember rightly, we started talking, we got the response, and you introduced us. And we tried a little bit and we didn't get anything else immediately, so we said, well, we're going to carry on with the names. And maybe at that point we should have just stopped and carried on pushing that point there and see if we could...
But again, I mean, if we ever get the opportunity to do that again, I mean, in the church, we'll just move forward from that.
Yeah.
Like, if we get a response, we'll just stick with that name and see what we'll kind of get.
See what happens.
For, 5 minutes, and if not, we'll just move on to something else.
Yeah. I'll tell you one thing I have had a look at, which at the time I thought was something, but now I think is nothing. During the night investigation, we were seeing these little orbs moving up. I think they were insects. I've looked at some of them, and I think, looking really carefully, I think they were moving like an insect, and I think maybe there was some small moths or something flying around in there that because we're sat in the dark, although it looks quite light on the thing, we're sat looking out into it. I think maybe didn't notice that they were there, but I've looked at it a few times and I've thought, I think they're bloody insects. So I think that's something moving across the front of the camera.
There wasn't a lot of flying around in there.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. Yeah. I looked through a lot of the footage, like I said, while I was doing the editing. But...
Go on.
There is a but. Is that after some of the bits that happened in the church at night, to certain responses, there were some orbs, some, not all, that just seemed a bit suspicious, and they seemed to appear. It could be a big coincidence. It could be that just going across when that little bit, that response happened. But because some people have been like watching the videos and flagging up the orbs and stuff. And I admit, I knew there was moths in there and all that kind of stuff, and I was been watching that footage carefully. Hence the reason why I didn't mention anything to do with the orbs in there or things that were flying around, because I knew that there was moths in there. But after some of the responses, there are.
You think there's something there as well? Okay.
Something. And I'm not saying they're all.
And one bit that I don't think's on any of the videos that still cracks me up when I think about it, I don't think it was in any of the ones. It was at the night one when the bat came flying out. Was that on any of the videos? No, I can't remember.
No, I wasn't filming.
So, just an update for you. We'd virtually finished, and Dave was stood in the church, and we were just talking about what we thought we'd seen and what we thought had happened. And a little bat came flying by his head. And his reaction was amazing. I mean, I wish we'd had the cameras running, because he at first didn't know what the hell was going on.
No.
You didn't, did you? You didn't have a clue what was going on.
No, I mean, after like the second time it flew by, I was like, okay, it's bat. But the first time I was like, what is that? But yeah, no, I haven't got that on camera. I wasn't filming at that point. So,
Okay.
I'm going to ask you a couple of questions.
Okay.
I think you might have already said it. No, you already said your favourite part, I see.
Yeah.
But here's one question. Knowing that you went into that building, even on like the walk around we did, you didn't feel anything, I found something.
Yeah.
The start of that investigation, you even said that you didn't feel anything.
No.
Can you, now, after doing 2 investigations there, one in the day, one in the dark, do you think as you say, it's haunted.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think there's something there.
Yeah.
I got that feeling when we were there that there was something that I couldn't explain.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know that's a really old church.
It's one of the oldest.
One of the oldest. See, I've got some other information about that, which is interesting, okay? So, that church, like you said, goes back to pagan times. It was a pagan church.
Yeah.
Or there was a pagan site on where that church was built, which is not uncommon for Christian churches to be built on pagan sites. But being an old country boy, I know a little bit about the history of that little area. So there's a field just out the back of that church, which, when I was a young man, I used to work on the farm that owned that field. And I can remember, right, being in that field, subsoil there, the amount of sarsen stones that I hit out there. And one year, I flagged them out where they were. Formed a circle.
Oh, did they really?
Going sort of not totally in the field, but there was a curve coming round and then going, there's a ditch there now, but there was like a half circle going round. I think there was a stone circle on that site at some point.
Which makes this investigation even a little bit more interesting.
Yeah, I can't prove that.
No.
I've got, but that's something I remember, and because I was flagging them because we had to come and get them out because they would damage the ploughs, etc.
Yeah.
Things. And I remember standing back and looking and thinking, that's a whole circle of flags I've put in the ground there, and then it got to the edge of the field and there was a ditch, so obviously it didn't go any further. But I think it goes round and comes in where that church is. So
That's interesting. Okay, that's really interesting.
I mean, we live in an area where there is so much history like that. I mean, here where I live, there's a stone circle in the fields outside. There was a stone circle in the fields outside. We're not far from Avebury. We're not far from Stonehenge. Those circles were common things. But that being a very old site and a pagan site originally, I just wonder if there's any connection there. I really do.
So the question is now, at some point do we go back there and investigate again?
I think we need to leave it a while.
Oh yeah.
That's my feeling. I think we just need to let the dust settle there.
Yeah,
but I would like to think we will go back at some point and have another go in there.
Yeah. It's also kind of sparked my interest that maybe, and this is just it's just an idea. Maybe do another church.
Yeah.
To see if we get the same kind of reactions of responses.
Yeah, I think it's good.
A random church.
Yeah.
Just so we get the map of Wiltshire, we get a pin, put it into Wiltshire, the closest church, we investigate.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Because I'd like to do a comparison on churches. I mean, I'm just really, really intrigued. It's like, we got what we got there. I'm just really intrigued if we're going to get something like that in a different church.
Yeah, it's a good idea. I mean, I think we need to pick wisely.
Yeah, very wisely.
Where we go.
Yes.
I think we need an older church if we can find one. It'd be nice to find one we can find some history on it before we go.
Yeah.
So we've got some knowledge of what we might expect to find there.
You go for that?
I'd like to have an expectation of what will be there. But yeah, I think definitely going forward, another church investigation at another church would be a good idea.
Just not one where I live. Just not the church where I live. It's too close to home. It's not happening.
It's easy to pop in there, Dave.
Yeah, it's very easy. It's just down the road. But no, it's not happening.
Okay.
Too close to home now.
There's plenty around.
Yeah, there's
plenty around. Yeah. Okay, so I think we've covered all the bases there, I think.
I reckon so.
Yeah. So thanks very much for listening to us and listening to us gabble on. Hope you've enjoyed our conversations. Hope you want to make some comments about what we've said. We like to hear see your comments there and get your responses. So from me, I guess it's thank you very much and good night.
And from me, thank you very much. See you later, all. Bye-bye.
Bye.